Hey guys, this is Shannon with Nearly Organic Noshing, and I have been seeing this 30 random facts about me video series that has been going around on a lot of the homestead channels on YouTube, and I thought I would just go ahead and do one about me and throw my 30 random facts out there so that you guys could get to know me just a little bit better. My very first random fact is no one else that I'm aware of has my name. My mom says that she found my name in an old Irish novel that she was reading whenever she was pregnant with me. And my name is Shannon, but it's spelled Shannahon, and that she and my dad got the idea for the name from the song Shannon Is Gone Now by Henry Gross. It's essentially about a dog that died. She drowned trying to save her master. So it is a very sad and depressing song, and that is where my name came from. So my mother had to be original. Number two, growing up, I lived in a two-religion household. My dad is Catholic, my mom is Baptist. We went to both churches every Sunday. Both of my parents participated in the other religion. My dad would help teach Sunday school classes at the Baptist church, and my mom would help in the choir at the Catholic church. And we grew up doing that every Sunday morning, starting with Mass at 9 and not getting out of the Baptist church until after 12. We also did Wednesday nights, Sunday nights, and Awanas, and we went to private Christian school. So we had a lot of religion growing up. So, and needless to say, now I'm Catholic. I probably, Episcopalian probably suits me just a little bit better, but my dad's Catholic, my kids go to Catholic school, I'm Catholic. My very first car was a 1979 Toyota Celica, which I absolutely loved. It was a little 5-speed with a sunroof, and bought it from my aunt for, I believe, $200. And the car I'm driving right now, which is an Acura RL, we bought from the same aunt many, many, many years later. So I have bought 2 cars from my Aunt Ju. Number 4. Number 4. I'm a mutt. I'm a Heinz 57. My dad is half Lebanese, and then his father was Irish and Blackfoot Indian off the reservation. My mom is Cherokee and French, and not really sure what else. Maybe a little Scottish, not 100%, but I am a mix of a lot of different cultures, and I think I take after the Lebanese and the Indian probably more than anything else looking at pictures. I am a huge bookworm, number 5, and many a times I have stayed up all night to finish a book I started. I've been reading, I started reading when I was really, really young, and when I was a little kid, 9, 10, I would sneak a flashlight under my covers, and I'd stay up like almost all night reading. And I used to get in so much trouble as a kid growing up because I would read all night long, and then I would be exhausted in the morning because I am not a morning person. I am definitely more of a night owl, and I could just stay up and read all night long and sleep in the next morning and be perfectly happy, but I don't get to do that much at all anymore. Number 6, I do not like liver, licorice, and most seafood. I am not a huge seafood person. I'll eat some, but most of it I'm not a fan of. And black licorice, it's just disgusting. And liver, no, that's about one of the only cuts of meat that I won't touch. Number 7, I am a huge UFC fan. I love to watch mixed martial arts. I like to watch the fights, throw UFC parties on fight nights, and I got my love of watching this kind of stuff from my dad. My dad and I used to watch the old Pride fights and boxing and um, uh, like strongman competitions and stuff like that. And then, of course, you know, in the 90s, they had all the movies, all the Rambos, all the blood sports, um, just all those kickboxing and just fight movies and stuff. And I love those kinds of movies. And my one of my bucket lists is to go to a UFC fight in Vegas and get to watch a UFC fight live. I would absolutely love that. That would be awesome. Number 8, I could live off grid as long as I had 2 things. AC, because living in Florida, if you don't have AC, you just are miserable. And books. If I had my books and AC, I think I could give up everything else. Electricity, having just lights that you flip on, hot water at the flick of a switch. None of that would faze me. I wouldn't care if I cooked outside, at an outdoor kitchen, or if I had to use gas or propane or grills. All that is fine. I don't mind doing things. I don't mind washing laundry by hand, but absolutely 100% must, I'd have to have air conditioning if I was living in Florida. Number 9, I love to clean big projects. I love to pressure wash. A pressure washer, I love to get out with a pressure washer and pressure wash the concrete or buildings or houses or whatever. It's instant gratification. It just feels so great whenever you have that pressure washer and something goes from all grungy to clean. Same things with cleaning the house. Big projects, I like to clean. I like to open the windows and turn the music on and scrub bathrooms and floors and counters, and I love to have a clean smelling house. I hate dealing with clutter. I don't like having to deal with paper clutter, and I hate folding socks. I don't like to fold laundry, but socks just kind of push me over the edge. They drive me nuts. So socks are like the bane of my existence. If I could never fold another pair of socks, I'd be a pretty happy person. Let's see, number 10. I have had many jobs, many jobs. I started waiting tables when I was like 15, 16 years old. I went from there to being a bartender and still waiting tables, working my way through college. I have been an office manager, which is what my current position is now. I have managed apartment complexes. I have been sales managers for furniture companies. I have been a legal assistant for an attorney. And let me see, what else have I done? I worked for a tractor dealership and I was one of their accounts managers. All kinds of sales jobs, and I have my certified medical assistant degree, which I am not currently using, but I still keep up my licensing and certification because one day I will. Number 11, I have 2 tattoos on my wrist, and I probably want 3 more. The others probably won't be visible. They'll definitely be under clothes, but I have been planning the ones that I have wanted since I was a teenager, and I know what I want. I just have to do it. So I like them, and that's something that I want to do just for me. Let me see. Number 12. I love babies. I could take care of babies 24/7. I could have a house full of babies up until they get to about 3. And I could cuddle them, rock them, feed them, diaper them. Crying babies don't bother me. Taking, my little ones to town. When mine were little, I was not one of those moms that was like, oh, well, it's been 2 days and I haven't gotten a shower and I just don't know what I'm gonna do. I have babies. That just never seemed to bother me. I never went a day without a shower, and I just dealt with having kids. And if I needed to take the carrier into the bathroom with me while I got a shower, that's exactly what I did. But there's just something so peaceful about having babies, and I could have had a house full of them. I only have two. But I could have had many, many more. And eventually, one day, when I'm old and gray, one of the things that I will do is volunteer in the NICU and hold and rock sick babies. And I think that would be something very fulfilling to do as a volunteer. Let's see. Number 13. I sleep less than 6 hours a night. You sometimes less than 5. Right now it is probably about 1:15, 1:30 in the morning or so. Probably about 1:15, and I'll be up a little after 6. So I do that every single night. The older I get, I'm seeing that I need more sleep. At lunchtime, I sometimes will crash for 20 or 30 minutes, but on the whole, 5 hours, 6. I work a full-time job, plus I have all my regular household duties, chores. I have the gardens, I have the chickens, I have my parents that live close by. My dad has Parkinson's, so help out over there. So I have a lot of stuff that I cram into a single day. So I get up early and I go to bed really late. And on a Saturday, if I can sleep in, I absolutely do, because I get my best sleep after 6 a.m. Number 14. I hate to get lost. I hate to get lost. If there's something that will nearly bring me to tears, it is getting lost. And it's not getting lost in the country or in the woods or something like that. It is getting lost in the city with mazes of streets and one-ways and areas I don't know. And you know, it seems like in this day and age, you just couldn't get lost. You have phones, you have GPS, you have tracking. Trust me, I can still get lost, and it just sends me over the edge. I hate it. My daughter is the same way. She's called me in tears because she's lost, and thankfully we do have GPS and tracking, and we can pull her up on the phone and see where she's at and say, okay, you need to go up 2 streets, take a right. And that is one pretty cool thing about technology. Number 15. There are certain movies that I have never watched and I have no desire to watch. I do not watch horror movies. Don't like horror movies. Have no need or desire to watch anyone chopped up into a million little bits or chased around with chainsaws. I have never watched any of the Fast and Furious movies. The franchise movies, just not my thing. I have refused on principle to watch The Notebook and like The Lake House and Avatar. I don't like animated stuff. It's not my thing. I know that everyone says it's so great, but it's just not. I'm not a tearjerker kind of girl. I'd much rather see blood than tears. At Titanic, I was just ready for them to all just drown and it be done. I just was ready for that movie to end. So yeah, those are not my kind of movies. I'd much rather see things blowing up and explosions and fight scenes than tearjerkers and sadness and crying. And I don't want to see people getting chopped up into little bits and things hiding in closets jumping out at you. So that's not my style. I'd much rather laugh or see things get blown up. It's just me. Number 17. I love planning parties. I am a big party planner. I love to throw big birthday parties and Halloween parties. We do Christmas every year and Thanksgiving, and you know, all the major holidays we have at our house, and we regularly have 40 plus people for these parties. I love it. I love organizing it. I love cooking for them. always have. I've done a bunch of weddings and stuff, and I really enjoy doing it. On the flip side, I despise having a party planned for me. I do not like to be the center of attention at the party, and I really don't like opening gifts in front of people. It just makes me feel really uncomfortable and awkward, but I do love searching for the perfect gift for someone else, because I'll think and think and think, and I'll just find something that I know they absolutely love and need, and it brings me such joy at Christmas to go shopping for the perfect gift for someone. But I just don't like opening gifts in front of people. If you give me a gift, I'd much rather just hold on to it until I am by myself, and then I can open it, enjoy it without feeling like the pressure of having to open it in front of people. Number 18. I am a Pisces. I love the water. I love being on the water, any water, it doesn't matter. But the downside is I get horribly, horribly motion sick. So as long as a boat is moving fast, it can be super rough water, and I am a-okay. As soon as the boat stops and we get the slow rock, I am sick as a dog. So I go out on the boats all the time. I love the water. Am I miserably sick? Yes, and I suck it up and I deal with it because I love being on the water. I love snorkeling. We go scalloping every year, and we do family trips and diving and go to the Keys and going out and fishing. I have tried probably 4 or 5 times to go deep sea fishing because I love it, but I get so violently ill, it is not worth it to do it. But I'm a water girl. I could be on the water all the time, and if they could create some magic little pill, which I have tried many of them, to keep me from getting sick, I would be a very happy person, because I just love to be on the water in all of its forms. Number 19, I hate beer. I have tried since I was young to acquire a taste for beer. Everyone says, oh, beer's an acquired taste. Wherever you go, there was always beer. This is Florida. We're a bunch of rednecks down here. There was always beer. I cannot stand the taste of beer and most liquors. Just not for me. I don't have a problem if we have beer in our house. We're not really much of drinkers. It's more for when we have a party or something like that. But I have never been able to acquire the taste for any beer at all. But I do love beer bread, and I do love to make beer cheese, like the dips, the fondue beer cheese, and that's delicious, but I can't stand to drink a beer. Number 20. I am a horse person. I got my first horse when I was 12 years old, and I rode competitively when I was young. I loved it. I am just so comfortable on a horse. The smell of horse and leather and barn is just like such happy memories. But I do not have horses right now, and my barn is used for storage, so no horses for me. But just to go out and be with horses, and just the smell, a lot of people say, oh, barn smells, it stinks so bad. No, to me, that's like going home. I absolutely love the smell of horse flesh and leather and saddles and manure and hay, and it's just such happy memories for me that I could happily live in a barn. I love the way it smells, and it just brings great memories of my dad and I riding horses together. Number 21. I have to have a fan blowing in my face when I sleep. I freeze Chris out of bed all the time, even in the winter. Even if we're camping and it's cold, I still will have my little portable battery powered fan, and I'll have my fan like 6 inches, a foot from my face, propped up on something and blowing air right in my face, or I can't sleep. And it drives most everyone else nuts. But even if it's cold, whatever, I have to have the fan going. If it's really, really hot, as long as I have moving air, I can sleep. If I don't have moving air, I can't sleep, and I will toss and turn all night long and make Chris pretty miserable because he doesn't sleep if I'm not sleeping. Number 22. Alaska is on my bucket list of places I really, really want to go see. I want to go see Alaska. Um, but I kind of want to go to Alaska in the winter when the bears are hibernating because I am petrified of bears. I've had nightmares about bears since I was a little kid. My dad has nightmares about bears, and I actually gave my dad a black eye when I was about 4, having a bear nightmare, and he tried to wake me up, and I kicked him in the face and gave him a big black eye, and he had to go to work the next day with a black eye and explain to everyone that his 4-year-old had kicked him in the face and given him a black eye because I was having a bear nightmare. So I really want to see Alaska, but the bears just scare me to death, and I know it's completely an unreasonable and irrational fear, but it's just there. So maybe Alaska in the winter time. Which brings me to 23. I live in Florida. I am surrounded by water. Wherever I go, there is water. Ponds, lakes, rivers, oceans. There's water everywhere. And the other 2 creatures that scare the living daylights out of me are alligators and sharks. They don't keep me out of the water. I still am in the water all the time. I still swim in the ocean. I still swim in the rivers and the lakes. And yes, I've seen gators, and yes, I've seen sharks swimming very close when we've been diving and stuff. But they scare me to death. And it's just one of those things that most likely they're more scared of you than you are of them. But I don't count on it. So yes, those are 3 things that have big sharp teeth: bears, gators, and sharks, and those are my biggest fears. Let's see. Number 24. I have a lead foot. I'm a bit of a speed demon. I like to drive really fast. I have not been in an accident because of my driving ever. I have had someone that was a drunk driver run a red light, and I plowed into them and totaled my car, but never anything for me. But I do have a bit of a lead foot. I have a fuzz buster on my dash, which I pet lovingly and tell it what a good girl it is all the time, because yeah, I do drive fast, and unfortunately my kids have kind of inherited that from me, and I do tell them all the time, don't do that. But yeah, they've seen me. I have a bit of a lead foot, and I don't have much of a temper until I have idiot drivers that are in front of me and cut me off. And if my kids have ever learned any really bad words, it's been when I'm driving. So yeah. Number 25. My best friend and I have been doing this for as long as I can remember. Now, my best friend and I, we've been friends for over 30 years, and we love to go get McDonald's French fries, very salty, and dip them into either a Wendy's Frosty or a Dairy Queen ice cream. There is just something about really hot, salty French fries, dipping it into ice cream or milkshake that is just delicious, and that is happy food right there. And if you've never tried it, don't knock it till you try it, because French fries and ice cream just go together. Number 26. I will eat onions and peppers if they are well cooked. I absolutely loved caramelized onions on something, or peppers that have been cooked. Not really spicy peppers, because I'm a big old wimp, but like bell peppers or sweet peppers or Carmen Reds or something like that with onions that are cooked well. I will not touch anything that's raw. I will not eat raw onions in any way in potato salad or chopped up in a salad or on top of something. I will not touch them. I'm not a big like jalapeno or having peppers chopped up on a sandwich. I won't touch them. But you cook them and I'll eat them. Number 27. I love a tractor. Chris always jokes that he has to like pry me out of the seat of the tractor. I will get on and mow the fields. We use the tractor for everything. It's amazing how many things you can find uses for on the homestead. Moving things, leveling ground, digging holes, you name it. People talk about, oh, how they wouldn't want to cut hay all day just driving a tractor. I would happily drive a tractor all day long, cut hay, and as long as I had a book playing on the CD or on some earbuds, I could put in 12 hours on a tractor listening to books and be a happy person and be completely content to do that for the haying season or out mowing. I've always liked to mow, I've always liked to be on a tractor, and we have a John Deere and I use it for everything. Number 28. I live in a very small town in Northeast Florida, and I have never lived more than probably 20-25 miles from my childhood home. From either of my childhood homes. I had two. My dad built our last house, and it was probably 5 miles from the first house that we had growing up, and I have always lived here. I really wanted to get away and I really wanted to get out of a small town, but I always just kind of ended up getting drugged back here and staying. And now my parents are older, I have kids here, we have a business here, we have all of our other family here, so I do not foresee us leaving here anytime soon. We'll be here for a very long time, but not to say that we won't have other maybe houses or off-grid properties somewhere else. When we retire, we'd love to have other places that we go to just to kind of get away from Florida, especially the Florida heat. That would be nice, just to get out of the Florida heat. I'd love to go someplace where there's actually seasons and to get to see snow. My kids have never seen real snow, so it would be really nice to be able to go someplace that that has snow, at least for a visit. Number 29. I usually cut my own hair. I will go years without going to a salon. I donate my hair. I grow it out until I get a foot or so that I can cut off, and then I donate it for children with cancer, children and women that have cancer, they can make wigs. And I usually just cut my own bangs. I don't do anything hardly to my hair. I don't blow dry it, straighten it, curl it. It's so rare. It has to be for a special occasion that I do anything to it. I brush it. When it's dry, I let it air dry. Like I said, I rarely use a blow dryer or anything on it. I take my hands, I wet them, I scrunch them, I put some hairspray, and I call it good. And more often than not, on a weekday, you're gonna find it up in a ponytail, a bun, or braided. This is it. I don't do much of anything with it. This is about as good as it gets, unless it is some sort of a fancy function that I feel like I need to actually do my hair for. So yeah, I don't spend a whole heck of a lot of money at the salons or anything like that. It's just, they see me every year or two, maybe, to get my ends trimmed and maybe make my bangs even, because I'm not always the best about that. And let's see, number 30. And I had debated on leaving this one in because Chris said it made me sound like a klutz. But I burn myself like a lot. And it's not just always cooking, because I cook all the time. But I have this thing where I somehow manage to burn myself. At one party, I managed to burn myself 3 times in 3 different ways, with different ways of burning myself. One was on a crock pot, one was a steam burn, and the third one was a dry ice burn, all in one night. If there is a big fire and I'm out burning rubbish, somehow I will pick up something hot, or I will pick up a branch that I didn't realize was in the edge of the fire, or I will stick my hand to an oven, or you wrap my hand around a pot and the pot holder slip and singe my fingers. I have a gift. I don't know. I sometimes just, amaze myself and how often and how many ways I have managed to burn myself in my 40 years. But I keep aloe plants growing right outside for a reason, and so far, no scars. So, well, I have one, but you can't see it anymore. It's covered up. But yeah, so those are my 30 random facts about me, and I hope it enlightens you a little bit to me and my life. And I wasn't tagged in particular. I watched a bunch of channels that said, hey, if you're watching this, go ahead and do it. Also, either we weren't tagged or we don't know who to tag. We're just going to throw it out there. But I don't know if they have done it yet, and I'm not technically tagging anyone, but some people that I would love to see do this is Janel Zero. I don't know if you guys are familiar with his channel. He's got a really big channel. Really enjoy his stuff. He has some just really cool videos. And Dirt Patch Heaven, I know a couple of people have tagged her, and it would be nice to see them do something, because I bet they would be pretty interesting with some of their random facts. And I don't think Farmer Mima has done it yet. I bet she has a lot of really interesting things to say. Excuse me. And my gardener would probably be interesting also. His videos are so educational, and he always just throws kind of funny little anecdotes in there whenever he is recording one of his videos. So I bet he'd have a lot of interesting stuff. So if those people have not, and they happen to see this, then it would be great to hear from them. But I'm just going to throw it out there that anybody else that wants to record one of these videos and put it out there, it just gives you a little bit of insight into the personal life of the people that you watch. So I hope you learned a little bit about me and that you found it interesting, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great night.